The community of a small Indian village was surprised to notice an elephant digging a hole in the ground with a resolve bordering on obsession. After 11 hours, the elephant pulled out something unexpected from the hole, and the whole community gasped in shock. In 2015, 60 elephants had an exotic journey from northeastern India through the city. Many of the Chhatra district villagers were familiar with the herds that passed through their town. Usually, these gentle giants simply crossed it from side to side in their quest for water, food, and shelter. But that day, one of the elephants suddenly stopped at the edge of the village, trumpeted loudly, and then started frantically digging a hole in the ground. The herd walked on, successfully crossing the village, but they didn't leave immediately. They seemed uncertain about whether to wait for their missing member or leave it behind to play in the mud. The elephant was soon identified as a female adult. If she had been a calf, the villagers would have assumed she was just playing. But since she was old enough to be a mother, they were all puzzled by her unusual behavior. Elephants are playful creatures, but it's nonetheless odd to see an adult digging a hole with such fervor. Still, the villagers shrugged and went on with their lives. As strange as the sight was, they all had more pressing matters to attend to than keep watch over a crazy elephant. But soon minutes became hours, and the villagers started to worry. Why was the elephant digging so fiercely? She hadn't stopped for a second. They couldn't see anything odd from where they were standing, so they couldn't understand if she was digging to unearth or conceal. All they knew was that she had been at it for 5 hours now, and didn't look like she was about to stop. Unfortunately, the ground she was working on was muddy and frail, and her hole kept collapsing on itself. She was fighting an impossible fight, and no one could understand why. Still, her relentless focus on that one spot in the muddy field sparked curiosity and concern among the onlookers. Why had she separated from her herd? What was so important about this patch of land? The elephant's actions had a deeper meaning that was not immediately apparent to human observers. The villagers watched intently, some speculating that perhaps the elephant was searching for water or that she might be unwell. Others wondered if something was buried beneath the surface that she was trying to reach. As the hours passed, the scene attracted more attention. Soon, even those from neighboring areas came to watch the elephant's mysterious endeavor. However, they still kept at a safe distance, unwilling to upset the already agitated elephant and the rest of her herd, which was still loitering at the edge of the village. The female elephant's dedication to the task and the way she methodically moved and probed the earth suggested that her behavior was driven by more than just random whim. It was as if she was on a mission, determined to uncover something significant. The villagers' initial awe slowly became a shared sense of anticipation and concern. Was there something amiss below the ground they walked on daily? What would the elephant find? Should they be scared? The mystery deepened as the elephant tirelessly worked, eventually turning her section of the muddy field into a sizable ditch. Using her trunk with remarkable precision and strength, she seemed driven by an invisible force, undeterred by fatigue or the bewildering gazes of the human crowd that had gathered around her. As the hours ticked by, the elephant occasionally paused, stepping back from the ditch she had created. These moments of rest were brief, serving only to catch her breath before she resumed her laborious digging. The intensity of her endeavor was palpable, and her episodes of exhaustion were met with sympathy from the onlookers, who could only speculate about the cause of such unwavering focus. Her frantic digging went on even longer, and soon 9 hours had passed. The villagers had gone to work and were starting to come back home, shocked to see that the elephant was in the same spot where they had left her that morning. Initially merely curious, the villagers found themselves deeply concerned and intrigued. The elephant had been digging for so long that most of the herd had gone on without her. Around the 10-hour mark, only 3 elephants were still hanging out at the edge of the village, casting uncertain looks at her from time to time. They seemed unwilling to leave her behind, but at the same time eager to keep walking. But she didn't care. From sunrise to sunset she dug and dug. Eventually, after so many hours, the villagers knew they had to intervene. The elephant was most definitely not playing or wasting time on something silly. She was upset and frantic, and she clearly needed help. And since her herd didn't seem willing or able to support her, it was the villagers' duty to try. They proceeded cautiously, just in case the elephant was too nervous to welcome their presence. However, she didn't pay them any attention, and as they finally got closer, they understood why. In the pit the elephant had tirelessly dug, they spotted a baby elephant trapped deep in the mud, unable to free itself. They had been right. The female elephant was old enough to be a mother. They should have known that something was wrong when they didn't see her calf behind her. And now here it was, stuck in a pit of mud under the blistering Indian sun for almost 11 hours, with its mother towering over it in a desperate effort to pull it out. The mother elephant had not been digging in vain. She had been fighting to save her calf, who had fallen into what was likely an unseen crevice, now filled with mud. The realization hit the villagers like a wave. The community's fear quickly turned into a collective desire to help. They gathered tools and began to assist in the effort, working alongside the elephant to carefully remove the mud and debris around the trapped calf. At the beginning, the elephant seemed hesitant to let the humans approach her baby. However, when she noticed that their actions were easing her labor, she allowed them to come even closer. Some of the villagers shoveled mud away from the edges of the pit, making sure it wouldn't collapse again, while the bravest ones started digging around the calf itself, trying to free its legs from the mud. With humans and elephants working together, the rescue took a new turn. The villagers used shovels and buckets to speed up the process, while the mother elephant used her trunk with incredible power. Unfortunately, the mama elephant was actually making the situation a lot worse. The more she dug, the more the baby was pushed back into the muddy hole due to her frantic, imprecise movements. The villagers knew that if they didn't intervene, the baby elephant would eventually suffocate and not make it, so they decided to get creative with ideas. The first thing they did was drive a banana truck towards the pit to scare away the mama elephant. A villager named Gendratori began to film the rescue, knowing that it would soon make history. As the truck approached, the mother elephant let out a loud, desperate trumpet that conveyed her deep regret at letting the humans approach her baby. However, she was forced to flee the scene when the truck came too close to her legs. She ran away on wobbly legs, distraught and exhausted, leaving room for the other villagers to keep working on the calf. The 3 elephants who had stayed back as she dug trumpeted loudly at the sight of the truck chasing her. They were clearly agitated and tried to step in, but thankfully more villagers came speeding with their own trucks, motorbikes, and even bikes to stop them from interfering. They formed a protective barrier between the elephants and the village, effectively trapping the giants out and allowing their fellow men and women to keep digging. Once they had cleared away all the mud trapping the baby elephant, the villagers found themselves facing another pressing issue. How would they ever get it out of the pit? Even as a baby, the calf weighed more than they could lift, even if they all worked together to push it out. This was a job only another elephant could do, so they signaled the villagers in the truck and gestured for them to leave her alone. They hoped she would run straight back to the pit and be able to grab the baby out. As she approached the pit again, she kept trumpeting loudly to signal her calf that she was coming to the rescue. When she reached him, she hesitated just for a second on the edge of the hole. It was as if she was wondering how her baby had managed to get free from all that mud without her. Her eyes scanned the villagers, still standing around the pit with shovels and buckets in their hands, and her ears twitched in recognition of their efforts. After digging for 11 hours and being chased away from humans in a banana truck, this mama elephant was finally able to grab her baby with her trunk. After a few tugs, she finally had her calf back by her side. The calf was exhausted but alive, and as it was reunited with its mother, the villagers couldn't help but feel a profound sense of relief and joy. The mother elephant tenderly nudged her baby, checking it over with her trunk. In the distance, the 3 elephants who would stay behind as she dug trumpeted loudly, cheering for the reunion between mother and child. Then the mama elephant turned to the villagers once again, with a silent thank you in her gaze. The community, once wary of the digging elephant, now saw her in a new light, understanding the powerful instincts that drove her to save her calf. With their hearts full of awe, the villagers watched as mother and child slowly walked away, and as they stepped into the sunset, the villagers noticed the most heartwarming gesture. The mama and the baby were walking with their trunks intertwined. The sight was almost too sweet to behold. At the same time, the rest of the elephant herd began to return. They sensed the danger was over, and it was time to reunite. The elephants gathered around the mother and her calf, trumpeting softly in a song of joy and relief. It was as if they were celebrating the successful rescue of the youngest member of their family. The villagers observed how the other elephants gently touched the baby with their trunks, welcoming it back and ensuring it was all right. During this reunion, they got peace of mind and witnessed the powerful strength of elephants as a family and their love. Contemplating the lesson of unity and compassion the elephants exhibited, the villagers developed a deeper connection with the environment around them. And when the footage of their daring rescue, filmed by Tori, went viral online, the whole world showed gratitude towards them, praising each man and woman who had rushed to the aid of the elephants and demonstrated a deep love for nature and all its inhabitants. Being part of this remarkable day greatly impacted the people who participated in the activities. This story would live on in people's hearts as a tale they would tell future generations, a proof that in the face of adversity, we can depend only on these 2 things, cooperation and kindness. What a beautiful story! Were you surprised by the depth of intelligence shown by the elephant? Would you have helped her dig to free your baby? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.